y'all. Welcome back to Knitting in Our Jeans. I'm Liz.
I'm Carolyn.
And on Instagram and Ravelry, you can find me as Toolizzforyou, Toolizzforyou.
What a mouthful. I'm cpredmor on Ravelry. And I haven't been posting at all on Instagram. Yeah. I've been following people, but I haven't been posting. We've been cleaning out closets. And I've been doing a stellar job of it. I have found baby clothes that I wore. Mm-hmm. So they're not quite antique, but they're definitely vintage. Vintage? You'd think I've been drinking dinner. They're definitely vintage. Some of which are going to my grandniece because her mom went, oh my goodness, I love it. I love it. I love it. I don't think she realizes how old they are.
Well, because she remembers me wearing them.
Right. We have a plaid coat with a hat
and matching pants,
leggings. So
like warm pants, like wear over or under a dress.
They're what were called leggings back in the day, dear. Yeah. So it was it's the equivalent of a snowsuit, only 2-piece. So
wool instead of like a poly.
Right. Oh yeah, this is wool, heavy wool. Yeah. Yes.
It's phenomenal. Yes. It's a green plaid. It's adorable. I remember being very upset when I was told that I was too big to wear it.
Then there is a navy blue coat with a white collar that I can remember wearing on Easter. Yes, it was an Easter coat, I think, when I was 3. And then there's a black velvet coat that I think is yours.
I'm pretty sure that's mine because I recall feeling quite majestic.
Yes, and so I think that's not as
old as it might be. All this just proves that you and I have always been about stylish outerwear.
True. So anyway, closets have been cleaned out. The craft room is looking amazing. I know you don't see much difference here, except now you do see books and magazines that were downstairs because there was space here. I have done an amazing job of cleaning stuff out. We have also been giving a lot to our church 50/50 shop and to the local Goodwill. The Goodwill that takes fabric got some more fabric this week. Rich and I drove up there on Thursday and deposited more, so that was good. So yeah, things are looking pretty good around here.
That's good.
I have to say. So I'm pretty pleased.
That's good.
So let's show what we finished.
Yes. It's a needlepoint pillow.
Yes. It's a scrim that I got in Rome in 2016 when I was there for a LaSallian conference. The Brothers of the Christian Schools follow Jean-Baptiste de La Salle, and he is the patron saint of teachers. Anyway, their mother house for the brothers, think about that one, is in Rome on Marcus Aurelius Street. And when Richard was there the weekend in between the 2 weeks, we went out and around. We went to Da Vinci Museum. I mean, we found some amazing things. So near the Da Vinci Museum was this craft store that had needlepoint as well as yarns, cross stitch, and I got this there. So it has a pillow. It's a nice soft pillow. Now the pillow was bigger than the scrim, so I boxed to some extent the corners, and there's extra.
You boxed 2 of the 4.
Well, they have enough room for the pillow.
It does.
That's what's important. It's backed with velvet.
Yep.
So it's going to be nice and soft.
Yep.
And one of the reasons I got it was because I know how much you like pets, but you can't have any in your apartment. So now she can have pets in the apartment.
They're so
cute. And that was all that. So, and her birthday is this week. So that is a birthday present.
Yay!
So done in time. Your other presents are under here.
Okay, I can take it home with me.
You can take it home with you.
You don't have to wrap it.
Good.
That's okay.
Because I'd be causing mess when I've just cleaned up. So yeah, that's the red letter news this week. It's Elizabeth's birthday on Tuesday.
Yes. Other than that, I have finished
another
things
red letter day was my mother, who's 93, got her first vaccine on Friday.
Yes.
So we are very pleased about that.
Yes, we are.
Very, very pleased. So that is big news.
Yes.
Yes.
And we have a new administration.
Yes.
Which is also big news. So we will see how...
Hopefully the vaccines will get done a little faster.
We'll see.
We'll see.
But, you know, we are already seeing things happening, which is good to see. Also this week, I finished another pair of socks, guys!
Oh, wow!
So these are the house stripe socks. These are nomadic yarns, and the toes, heel, and cuffs are Leading Men Fiber Arts. These are on the 2.5s. They're 60 stitches on the 2.5, so they are a little bit smaller than the other ones. I still think that I like my 64 to 68s on ones. But these are still really comfy. I wear them around the house. I've worn them to do a bar workout, so they're comfy. They're not uncomfortable.
What do you use for a bar?
A chair.
Ah, okay.
Yes. So did that, and once I finished that, or those, I finished those on Wednesday.
This is like calmer. That's what this is like.
And so I finished those on Wednesday, and then I picked up another whip, which is my Love Witch from...
you took this down to South Carolina, didn't you?
Well, I packed it. I didn't work on it.
Well, I said took it.
Oh, yes. Yes, I did. I packed a lot to take with me down to South Carolina. But that's when I realized that socks are the most portable...
Oh, absolutely.
...to work on. So, today I got it to separate the sleeves. I can't remember if I separated the sleeves today or yesterday. And then...
Today.
I have put the body on waist yarn. And I have picked up the sleeves. This currently has, I think, 3 balls of yarn in it.
Really?
So far, yeah. So this is 300 yards.
How many balls do you have?
10.
That's good.
Yep.
So you're going to do the sleeves
I'm going to do the sleeves, and then, because it's already a cropped sweater, I can then just make it as long as, my intention is to wear it with a specific dress, but I'm going to try it on with, my Dietrich pants, which are my wide leg pants, just to make sure that the lace at the bottom of the sweater also is at the waistband of those pants, so I can wear it with those too. But I did try this on. It fits. It looks really good.
It looks really good.
Yeah. So I'm actually knitting the size, I think, extra small, but my gauge,
because it's a big sweater.
Because of my gauge.
Oh.
So the gauge of the pattern is 4 1/4 stitches to the inch, and my gauge, I think, is 3 1/4 or 3 1/2.
Ooh. Okay. Much bigger.
Much bigger. So, and that's due to the yarn, and I picked this yarn because it matched the black of the dress.
The dress, right.
That I intend on wearing it with. And blacks are really hard to match, so I found the yarn, and I'm making my gauge work. I am doing one sleeve at a time due to the fact that I've been knitting these on my inherited Darn Pretty needles, and this cord is not long enough to do sleeves 2 at a time with like an Aran weight yarn.
Right.
So yeah. But I am really enjoying it. It's super warm.
Oh, you can use that today.
Yeah. Oh, believe me. That was a thought. Oh, and the other thing I did this week.
Yes, stand up.
Is I blocked this, which is now
was up here.
I think so. You all can go back to last week and see. I remember how my sleeves were a bit too little. We're just there. Yeah. So I blocked this. I didn't put it in the washer and dryer, but I did put it just in the sink. Okay. I know that's from
there. Okay.
Yeah.
Never mind.
I realized that was the only end I didn't get in.
Okay.
So it is quite long, but I'm really enjoying it. I think it doesn't...
I love the colors.
The colors actually look really good, and we're both kind of shocked by the fact that we love it. And it's really comfy. The blue, yeah.
Gorgeous.
And I also really like this one. Like these 3. This one I'm not as in love with, but I love these 3. So I'm really glad I did it. I'm really glad I did the test. It's a beautiful sweater. Just be aware of your yarn choice and how you are going to block it because mine grew exponentially. Not that it's a bad thing, as I'm saying, because...
Well, it didn't grow so much width-wise. It grew lengthwise, which is fun.
Yeah, so I will probably wear it with leggings and, you know,
or
jeans.
Jeans.
Yeah, skinny jeans. Anyways, so... Yeah, and since it's fingering weight, it's actually not that heavy, even though it's a Fair Isle sweater. So, yeah, I think I feel way more confident now to do the Aunt Fred.
Good.
The only problem with that is that involves steaks, and that still terrifies me.
Oh, they're easy.
Good. I'm glad you feel that way because
they're easy.
I can just be here going, help.
Well, yeah, I mean, we have machines that zigzag. We can put it through the serger. I mean,
yeah.
We have machines.
We have sewing machines.
We have 1, 2, 3, 4, and yours is 5. I have 5 sewing machines in this house, I believe, at the moment.
Are you counting both singers? Because one singer's at my apartment.
No, I counted the machines that are in this house.
Ah, so yes, so 5.
So I've got 1 each in the end tables.
Yes.
Yes. My sewing machine,
my
singer, and yours. That's 5.
Well, then, don't we have the 2 sergers?
I didn't count those as sewing machines.
Oh, because they're sergers.
We have 2 sergers, too.
Yes.
Yes. We found yours.
Oh, good. Yes. I was going to ask. I was...
Because I always thought it was in that thing, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
That was full of fabric. That went to Goodwill. That was a leftover fabric that my mother had from quilting, which I didn't realize I would have taken to the quilting lady, who... Carol said, thank you very much for taking it over to her friend. Mm-hmm. So I'm glad they liked all that I sent. That's great. And, I would have brought this, but I had completely forgotten. It was a serger case of an older serger that my mother had that she had filled with material and fabric. And I kept looking at it. Every time I looked at it, I said, there must be a serger in there. Well, there was no serger in there. Anyway, the fabric went to Goodwill, so it went to a good home. And the case went out in the trash because...
It didn't fit our machines.
Didn't fit. I've got a 5-thread serger. And so that extra spool on the top didn't make it into the case. So it would have been lovely, but it just didn't fit. So so in the cleaning up, I think I should talk about the fact that I found another angel! Yes, another angel. And this is one that I had thought I had, but couldn't figure out what I had done with it. And I can remember getting started and then finding it extremely difficult. So we figured out why it's extremely difficult, because it was before I realized about gridding. And so I've actually started gridding this one with a smoke color, but I have ordered a black and thicker.
Good.
Nylon, like a fishing line. Monofilament to grid, but I can see that.
I can see it, but it's...
The black will be better.
The black will be better.
I had every color on a needle. Mm-hmm. So what we call about, Stitch and Park was in operation there, because it was the only way I could keep track of what was supposed to be going where, because trying to count this constantly was very difficult. Mm-hmm. But with gridding, oh my goodness, this will be a walk in the park. So I was so excited. We also were
very concerned because we thought that it was sideways.
Yes. We thought, originally I held it like this and went, oh my God.
It's not going to fit.
It's not going to fit. This is an angel's wing. And then I held it the way it should be held and went, no, it's okay.
We're okay.
Now we have the right orientation. So this is an arm coming down to hold what would be a lute going up this way, and then these are wings coming down there. Mm-hmm. So
and in that, when we were worried that it would, if it was
I was gonna have to cut it off.
Yeah. So we actually, if anyone is looking, we found a
translation,
not a converter, but a list of the dimension color numbers converted to DMC and Anchor color numbers.
Great. So this is going in my embroidery box, which is over there. And I will be able to do that after I finish some of my, I'll finish the one Looks like Lake Como. And now I can get back to them. Now I've finished all the Christmas and birthday presents. So I can be doing that while I work on knitting. And I've taken all of the stuff that was under here, except for the coat. I may work on that coat next. That would be good. Get it. In fact, I may make it into a dress.
A coat dress. Coat dress?
Well, I may just stitch up the front.
All right.
And make it a pullover.
Okay.
So we'll have to see what that looks like. But that needs, I have all kinds of yarn to do the paisley appliques on that. That's where I learned it's important to look at dye lot numbers. So it was a commercial yarn.
Yes.
Yes. And I somehow was short on yarn. And it was a Harry Potter Knitting Crocheting Club project. And so it was an owl. And I didn't want to get knocked off of this. So I ordered more yarn. And it came with, it didn't look like a different color before it was knitted. But boy, once it was knitted, you could tell it was a different dye lot. I was shocked. So what I have is I bought some multicolored, let's see if I can reach it. Yes. See this color? This started out, it's supposed to be a wrap around your neck scarf. This is going to become the belt of the dress. So it's going to be a nice wide waistband on the dress. And this, I have been able to get 7 skeins, I believe 7 skeins, to do paisley amoebas.
Okay.
All over the skirt of the dress, and if I have more, I can do some on the bodice of the dress. And so with the paisleys, it will distract the eye, and you won't even see that it's 2 colors, is what I'm betting. Yes. So I have all of that to work with. This is the present here. This is the present waistband, and I'm not as entranced by that as I am by this. This, I think, makes a much bolder statement. So I'm going to cut this out. It was different pieces anyway. You can see where it's been joined. Definitely joined. So that will be taken apart. And what a good match, right?
Well, I think that's what you originally used in the middle section. No, in the actual middle section that you're pulling out.
This.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what I used. It's been so long. It's been something like 4 or 5 years. I really don't remember. It very possibly could be. So anyway, the middle section's coming out. That's going to become part of the paisleys. This is going in as the waistband. And I think it will be made into a dress or a tunic or something like that.
Okay.
Something that I will wear instead of something that's under the table, which will be much better.
Yes.
So would you like to talk about anything else? Because I have
so,
that sweater that I was working on.
Why don't you talk about the sweater you were working on?
Okay. So, pulling it out of the bag and up my sleeve. Actually, there's nothing up my sleeve except my arm. But what's in my bag is my sweater.
Yay!
And I have finished the body. Here, you can pull it. What? Yeah. Okay. I have finished the body, and I'm now working on the hem.
Oh.
It is a 1x1 knit purl hem.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and then you also pick up along the neck. And so where you are picking up the tops of stitches, such as at the back of the neck and the front of the neck, it's a 1-for-1 pickup. And then as I go around by the sleeve, it's a 3-for-4 pickup. All right, and that is a 1x1 rip also.
Nice.
And that goes for 1 inch.
Okay.
And I'm going to do that in white, and my hem is going to be all in white because that's what I have the most of. I actually have 1 full ball of black, and I have already started on this one. But I have 1, 2, 3, I have 5 balls of the white that I haven't started. So I'm going to have to get in touch with my niece to see if she is at all interested in having her daughter have an alpaca sweater. Or because you're going to have to hand wash this or wash it in on delicate.
We could knit up a swatch and throw it in the washer and dryer and see what it does.
That's true. What a good idea. Because she's a little girl, like little. She's just a year old. And I am sure that she gets dirty.
Oh, yeah.
With any luck, she gets dirty. Unfortunately, where she's living, I don't think there are trees to fall out of. But
no, not as many.
I'm sure that there's playing in the gravel and all kinds of stuff, especially when the pandemic subsides. So that is good.
There are still parks.
Yes. I have not measured the 10 yards to find out how much it weighs, but that's next on my list. I came up with yarn in a bag that I couldn't figure out. I had a number of these yarn crawl bags that had yarn in it for specific projects.
But don't have either something in your queue or something.
Well, I didn't look at my queue yet.
Oh.
I did not look at the queue. So what I have is I've got 7 skeins of Madeline Tosh, 2 in gray and 5 in this lovely deep purple. This is called Elven Dark, and this is called Black Sea. And I have a feeling that there's a pattern that is DK, and it was made for this, but nothing springs to my mind, so we will have to look that up. Mm-hmm. Also in here was one of the skeins of heavier sock yarn.
It's a long wool sport.
You're right. So I have that. So at least I got that far down the road. I will look at my queue to see what I had intended it for. And then, talking about whips, of course we're talking about whips, I have this.
Oh.
This, I believe, is Calmer. It acts very much like Calmer because it's a stretchy cotton. It was supposed to be a medallion sweater, you know, where the whole back is this lacy medallion, and then how you sew it together, it actually becomes cap sleeves, and I didn't have enough yarn. And the yarn shop sold me too little yarn. They didn't have any more of the Calmer. So they said, oh, I'm sure you'll be able to make it stretch. No. So in Maine, it's south, what's wrong with my throat? I don't know what's going on. South Freeport, Maine, there was a yarn shop. Now, whether it's still there through the pandemic, I don't know. But it was on, I guess, Route 1, right before you actually came into Freeport, where LL Bean is. So you wouldn't take the main exit for Freeport. You'd get off in advance, and then you'd pass by this place. And across the street from it's a really cute little hometown restaurant, which we always stopped at because you got a fair amount of food for a very fair price, and it was always good. And I went in with this, and I found this. So I think the deal is that I've got basically 3 skeins. I needed 4 of the Calmer, and I have 3. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of this Reynolds cotton top seed cotton print. We've also figured out that some of these really older yarns don't have any length on them. This one has
105. Right. Yeah.
So I've got 500 yards of that.
Yeah, but it doesn't have any stretch to it. It's just cotton.
It's just cotton, whereas this does have stretch. But I think that I would be able to do something with the 2 of them.
I think so.
So whether one's a yoke and the rest of its body or something like that.
I think you'd have to really think about that because the Calmer will stretch more.
Yes, it will.
And especially with the weight of the cotton.
Which is fine, because I'm into making tunics.
I know, I'm just saying, if you have something that has a pattern to it for the yoke.
Right. I'm really not thinking of a pattern. I'm thinking more like this.
Okay.
Which is a lace yoke.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if you can see.
It's the Snowflake by...
there you can see.
Yeah, it's the Snowflake by...
It's Snowflake by Tin Can Knits. And then it has the other. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of what I'm thinking, but it's cotton, so it'll be good to have on the boat, which is vacillating between. We are going to have so much fun sailing this summer, too. Are you sure you want to go out on the boat? I'm also here to report that we figured out that I had patella tendonitis, which I probably talked about last week, and they have given me new sets of exercises, and things are moving along fairly swimmingly. What did we get? A
Bosu ball.
Bosu ball. Which is
a half exercise ball
with a weighted bottom or a weighted flat.
It has a weighted portion that you can either stand on or use as its base, and the other half is a half dome of an exercise ball, which you can either use as the base to balance on the flat portion of it, or you can have the flat portion on as the base. And you can balance on the ball. Right,
which is what I'm doing because we're trying to improve my balance. Having broken my right foot years ago and now have surgery on the left knee, I'm actually playing a game of get off either foot, which makes walking really interesting. As long as I can walk fast, I'm fine. The good news is I've gotten to the point where dancing is easy.
Good.
And because you dance on 2 feet, not 1. It's when I start trying to go over the low hurdles that I lose my balance because I'm trying to get off that, whatever foot it is, I'm trying to get off of it rather quickly. So I also have the low 6-inch plastic hurdles that came today to really work on this balance thing because I can see where the balance will be critical in sailing. I really need to be able to get steady on my feet on solid land before I can get steady on my feet on the boat. But anyway, things are moving along because last year I couldn't dance.
No,
it hurt.
You couldn't dance
2 years ago.
3 years ago at the wedding.
I haven't been able to dance since I tore the meniscus.
Yeah.
Yes. So it doesn't hurt to be on 2 feet.
Which is good.
Yes. And the crowd at PT is like amazed. Look at her. Why is she here? I said, because on 2 feet I'm fine. It's 1 foot at a time that's the problem. So anyway, those exercises are moving along and things are going well. I'm really, really pleased. That is aces. I think I mentioned that both Rich and I have our shots appointment in March, later March. So by that time, hopefully they will have figured out what they're doing with the vaccine, and so hopefully we will not be postponed. So that would be good. All right, so we have this to try to figure out, which will be a brand new pattern, because I've got nothing. The medallion that I had in mind is not where I'm going with this. I've got my counted cross stitch Lake Como that I can work on. My angel is going in the basket or in the box
for after Como.
For later. I think I may want to work on the needlepoint that I got. That's a contemplation piece. Or I may put that away also. I could work on the angel after Lake Como. I wanted to finish Lake Como. Then maybe the angel because she's going to be made into a pillow. All of those are going to be made into pillows.
Oh, wow. The couch is going to be overrun at Christmas time.
It'll be great. I really don't want to make them into anything framed, but I think as pillows backed with velvet, I think they'll be marvelous. And you can put them under the tree. I mean, you can do all kinds of things with them as pillows. It's going to be adorable. It's going to be great. I've got my coat here. So, finished with the neckline and the hem. And that should be able to be finished by this time tomorrow night, which will be good. And I can then block it and wear it. Excellent. Then work on the coat, see if it can be made into a dress or whether it's definitely coat material. The problem is that I'm just not sure how well it will work as a coat.
Yeah.
You know, whereas as a dress, you know, just put it on over your head and put leggings on and go on out. So I'm thinking maybe. So I may actually hem it up a little, flip it up a little.
Or just like zigzag and cut, because that's pretty thick to hem up.
Yeah, but it will give it a nice weight at the bottom.
Okay.
you know, right now it's got a garter hem on it, and I think if I pull that up, which is an inch, if I pull it up, I think that would make a nice weight on it.
Okay.
If that doesn't quite do it for me, then I can see perhaps zigzagging and cutting. It's just like you don't like the steep. Well, that's exactly what this would be. I think I had done a really good job on the buttonhole, the button band. So I'm really pleased with that. I'm just sorry that it just doesn't really seem to work as a jacket. I could see where it would be perhaps a robe, but that, I don't know. I don't know. We'll have to see. I can leave it as is. It could be a robe.
It could.
And it would be a very warm robe, which would be nice. Or I could see about making it into a dress. So that's something to be thought about after the Paisleys. And my dear, what have you got?
So I've been working on my,
Kind of cross stitch.
no, it's black work.
Ah.
It is Peppermint Purple, black work, Stichalong. I'm not going to hold it too close because I don't want to give away the secret sauce. It is free. So you can go on Facebook or on her website. The website is below. And join.
Oh, I see. This holds your pins and needles.
Yeah, that's a needle minder.
Oh, very nice.
Yes. I tried to get you one, but they sold out.
They sold out. Oh well.
I'm eventually. You will get one.
Oh, well, that's okay. My Christmas present's
exciting.
coming on Tuesday.
I know. I'm very. I'm so excited for you to get your Christmas present. I'm so excited. It's gonna be great.
It will be.
So it's black work. I am going to outline these 2 boxes. And then the 4th week comes out on Wednesday.
Cool.
Which is a smaller section, I believe. It's interesting because with the first one,
Is it a castle?
no, it's going to be a square motif.
Ah, okay.
She has a rectangular motif as well, but that felt it
Unbalanced.
Yeah. And she came out with the square one this year, and I was like, oh, wow.
That's all the difference.
Yeah, I'm totally in. But the first one, I found my rhythm really fast with how I was going to do it. The second one took me most of today.
Okay.
And yesterday. Like, I worked on it some yesterday, like some I worked on it some a few weeks, like last week or so. And then I worked on it last night and then today. And it took me a little while to find my rhythm. And then I finally figured that out. And then I was really worried because the way that the 3rd week looks on paper, my brain wasn't fully understanding how it wanted to follow the lines. But I found that once I define the exterior, because I'm not doing the outlines first, because I want the outlines to be... The reason I'm not doing the outlines first, whereas a lot of people are, and there's pros and cons to both, I want my outlines to be very clean. So I think doing them afterwards will provide that cleanliness.
Well, we'll find out.
We will. Well, I mean, it provided it on the top one.
Yes, it certainly did.
So I'm very intrigued to see that. But yeah.
Is that all a back stitch?
It is all, so these are both done all in a back stitch. I'm using the whole bien stitch to do the outlining. So it looks like a dotted line, and then you come back and you fill it in a not dotted line.
Holbein?
Yes.
I think it's Holbein, but
Holbein? Okay.
I think. I could be certainly wrong, but that is the name of an artist.
Oh, then yes. Holbein.
Yeah, okay. I've never heard his name said, so that's in my head, that's how it seems.
I was just about to make a comment of, this is why I really like audiobooks, because most of the time then you get to finally hear words that you've been saying wrong in your head for years.
Yes.
Which is very funny, because at work, I have been teased for my large vocabulary.
Oh.
Which, if it continues, I will be bringing up as, like, this is, like, if you have a problem with the fact that I
can speak.
Yeah, that I read a lot, and my parents are older, and therefore, and are professor, like, my mother's a college professor, and I have read the Wall Street Journal on weekends my entire life, I know large words.
Get over it.
You can Google.
Yeah, really?
Or ask me what it means, and don't just tease me about it. I won't make fun of you for not knowing it. Like, just say, hey, what does that mean?
Right.
Not like, oh, we don't all need to use those big words.
If you want to get bigger in your business world, you might. Yeah.
So, but that is a prime example of sometimes I am very worried when I'm using words that I'm not saying them correctly because I have only read them.
Right.
And with my dyslexia, I'm not always sure how
the letters
how a specific order of letters is pronounced because I'm unsure of if my brain has transposed them.
Yeah, I understand completely.
Yeah, so it's a very interesting thing sometimes when speaking, especially when reading something new aloud.
Mm-hmm.
Because especially if it has words that you've never read before, or that you've only ever read before, you're like, oh no. So that's that. As we dive into that a little bit. So speaking of the inauguration,
I'm sure those of you who watched
or have been on the internet since Wednesday
saw Senator Bernie Sanders
and his mittens.
Yes. Handmade mittens.
Well,
we're thrilled.
So they are handmade, but they're not handmade in the way that a lot of people have expected. They are recycled sweaters.
So she has cut them up.
She has cut them up, and that's why the thumb is not the same as the rest of the mitten, if you saw, and also why the palm is not the same as the back of the mitten.
See, when I heard and read that they were recycled sweaters, I thought she had frogged the sweater.
No, she specifically found sweaters or was given sweaters that had moth holes or had pulls or, you know, things people didn't want anymore, or they were,
and so she was recycling the good parts.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that she has 4 more pairs up for sale.
No, I don't think she does.
Today they had on the news
really?
that she has decided to support orphan dogs or orphan pets in Vermont.
Okay.
So she's made 4 more pairs.
And they're going up for auction?
I'm not sure how this is happening, but she's doing this in order to fund this pet charity, you know, animal charity.
Yes.
And she can only work so fast.
Well, because she's a teacher who's teaching, so and has
this is not a career
has a child.
Of hers. Yeah, this is not a career. So it was very sweet when she saw all the interest in Bernie's, who was apparently a friend of hers.
Well, she had supported. She knew someone who knows him.
Okay.
And knew his
friend
campaign.
Of a friend.
Yeah.
So she had made him these mittens, and then when she saw the attention that it all got, she said, well, maybe there's something I can do with this. So she's made at least 4 more pairs, because as of this morning, there were 4 pairs that apparently were up for sale to support this animal charity. And I think it's interesting that there's been such a fuss over Bernie and his puffer coat. When Janet Yellen, who's going to be the Treasury Secretary? Janet Yellen. She was there in her puffer coat with the blue inauguration blanket on her legs.
But
well, I
Bernie
has a
like
this.
Bernie has a resting grumpy face.
Yeah.
He has a resting grumpy face, and we all just want him to be our Jewish uncle. Like, our grumpy Jewish uncle
and
in the corner.
Mittens like this.
It's cold.
And the mittens were
you
front and center. Janet Yellen.
Yes.
So anyway, she had her puffer coat on, and, you know, someone was saying that, you know, even if Bernie had managed to be the candidate for the Democratic Party, he probably would have come to the inauguration dressed just exactly the same.
Well, yes, that's the most, warm.
Because, it's important for older people to stay warm in the cold weather. I believe it was Harrison that died of flu after his inauguration because he caught a chill at the inauguration. So, word to the wise, do dress warmly.
Yes.
We're supposed to have some really cold temperatures this week. At least up in the New York area.
Well, and across the Midwest, we're supposed to have storms starting today, like tonight.
Yes.
So it's coming up through the middle of America, up mid, then over.
So
that was completely reversed for you all. So we're going to do this again. It's coming up and over.
Okay.
I think. Maybe it turns it around. I don't know how this works. I don't watch us a lot of the time. Oops.
I have no idea. Anyway, it's going to be cold. So it's time to get out these knitted goodies that we've got. And don't forget your hands. My thumb mittens have been so warm. I've been wearing them on my way to and from physical therapy. I love them. And we're going to have to look up the pattern to see if we can find the exact pattern that I used for my mom's, because I liked it better than I liked the pattern for mine.
Okay.
I did like working with thinner thumbs because it wasn't such a fight getting my hand in the mitten. And you know, part of it is just you want to be trapping dead air in these mittens that help keep it warm, but you also don't want it packed around your hand because it's important to have the air around your hand. So, but please dress warmly.
So dress warmly. But if you have been on social media and you have friends who know that you knit or crochet, you too probably have been tagged in the many Bernie Sanders mitten patterns, or the crocheted doll that now have patterns on Ravelry.
I'm going to have to get that pattern. That is so cute.
But
I put that on
my personal favorite is the sweater.
I keep it here for the grandniece. And she can play with Bernie.
I think that's a great plan.
I think that's a good idea. What a nice aunt.
You are the nicest. You are the nicest. You are just poking your brother-in-law, but that's okay.
It's a doll.
It is. So the best for me is the Caitlin Hunter Feel the Burn sweater. Based on his mittens. It is a free pattern. She does ask if you're able to, given the pandemic is still happening, given people are still being tight with their finances, fully understandable. If you are able to please donate to Meals on Wheels or another organization that you feel strongly about in your community. They've been calling out Meals on Wheels because that is one of the organizations close to Bernie's heart, and Bernie actually made a sweatshirt that had his image on it, and all of the proceeds of that went to Meals on Wheels. Yeah. So this has not been tested or tech edited. She designed it
very quickly.
She designed it, I think, Friday, and it came out on Saturday afternoon. It's based, the shape and the stitch counts are based on the Soldatna, which I have knit and I really like.
Is that one of her bigger sweaters? The Soldatna, one of the broader sweaters?
It's one that I wear as a skimming, not as a slim fit, but as a kind of yeah. So this one is meant to be worn at about 2 to 4 inches of positive ease. So it's a little bit
boxy.
I was gonna say it has a little bit more negative ease than most of her sweaters do. But she does note that you can lengthen it, you can, make it your own, but I really do love that she, figured out a chart for it, and I've seen so many in the last 24 hours already being cast on.
What size yarn is it?
It's worsted.
Worsted.
Yeah, so I'm going to be using DK. I'm going to be using Magpie Fibers Solstice DK, which is a cotton and worsted, or cotton and wool blend, which we've talked about here before. She uses Magpie Nest worsted. So I am probably going to have to, I'm going to swatch. Let's be real. It's me. I don't not swatch.
So you'd be making a larger size.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. So
to get the stitch count right for the sweater.
So I'm thinking I'll probably be doing like a 44 or a 48, but I want to do the swatch first.
Absolutely.
Because who knows, it could actually knit up.
Could.
Bigger because of that cotton. You never know.
You never know.
And I think that's more of the Solstice DK. I've heard through the grapevine that it is machine wash and dryable. They don't explicitly say it, but it's also not something that it's not that people don't do it. So I am intrigued to see how the swatch works with that. So I have that skein that I showed you all of the Fior de Latte from last week. I think I showed you all. And then I just got 3 more skeins.
She was on the phone.
I was on the phone with Brooklyn General. I got a dark purple and a medium kind of gray, blue-gray. And I'm currently looking in a I'm currently on Ravelry looking at a D-stash and reaching out to someone about a D-stash of a light gray. And those are going to be my colors. This is a 4-color pattern. And in the mitts, they are browns. But that's not my color.
No. It's certainly a Bernie color, but I don't think it's our colors at all.
So I had thought about doing it in browns, but I also realized I would wear a more gray one more. And instead of going full gray and doing the darkest color as a gray, when Brooklyn General said they had the purple, I was like, done doing the purple, and it'll be purple and grays, and it'll be great. So now I'm just waiting to hear back about that one D-stash, because Brooklyn General only have the 2 colors of Solstice DK, because they're running out of it.
And you had 1, so you
and
need
I
a
had
4th.
1, so I need a 4th. I need the light. So how I've been thinking about it is dark, medium, light, lightest.
Okay.
So I have 3, I just need the light color. But I think anyone can do it with any colors. I've seen one that's in black and red, and I think it's going to be white and
Gray?
No, black.
Black, you already said.
Black, white, red, yellow.
Okay. So
based on the Lady Gaga's outfit from the inauguration.
An amazing Schiaparelli dress.
Amazing. So I wanted to just share that. I don't know why I feel the sudden need that I need this sweater.
You like that kind of color work. You really do. And that's not necessarily me.
No.
But, you know, that's probably in my future.
You're just so inspired.
I am.
You're like, I need this.
Well, you know, I just figured out how I'm going to fit all of those paisleys on. I have the French curve for dressmaking, and I can use that to do my outline for my paisleys. Oh, love a French curve.
So good.
So good.
And you can scale up and down because you have the flexible ruler.
The flexible rulers. Yes.
And you can scale up and down.
Well, what I can do is then I can baste an outline of what I want to do, and then I can go back in and do the needlework.
Yeah.
So very cool. Glad we figured that one out.
Yeah. So I hope you all are having a good week.
Staying safe.
I hope you all are still staying safe. I hope if you are able to get the vaccine that you are, able to get that.
Getting in line for that,
and that you are registering for that. Everyone keeps asking me when I'm able to, I will register. My biggest concern is getting my grandparent. Wow, that was weird.
My mother.
My grandmother. Sorry, that's the first time in my life I think I've realized that it's singular now.
Right.
Nervous laughter. And my parents vaccinated, and then making sure that my boyfriend's parents are also getting vaccinated. And I know his mother at least has gotten her first shot.
Oh, good.
I believe his father has too.
They're in a more rural area.
It
may actually be easier to get vaccinated. We knew
it might be.
We found that here in New York last week, or the week before, if we had been up for going to Plattsburgh
or Binghamton, apparently.
Well, Plattsburgh, I could have gotten an appointment the next day.
That Cheryl was saying that the same thing was happening if you were willing to go to Bing.
And not the day I looked.
Oh.
Plattsburgh, and there was another one. But anyway, but now everybody's looked in those directions, and the people who are willing to travel have gotten those. Richard has a problem with nerve damage from spinal curve. He had scoliosis, and so he had surgery, and now he's getting spinal stenosis from shrinking, I think. And they
well,
can't.
It's probably from his back, his muscles and his skeletal system.
He can't be operated on again.
Right.
So whereas many people get to this age and they have spinal stenosis that causes pain, they have a back operation and it eases their pain. He can't have that kind of operation because he's had scoliosis surgery 20 years ago, and it's all. I mean, he has titanium rods in his back, so there's really nothing that any of the people we've talked to can do. So anyway, he doesn't not look forward to long car drives anymore. I mean, we used to drive from here to Maine in 9 hours and really not think too much about it.
No.
But he kind of blanched at the idea of getting in a car and driving 9 hours up to Plattsburgh. Oh well, we will be fine.
You will.
Everybody stay safe. Stay warm.
Yes, and this week I was going to say, stay warm, especially if you're in the northern part of this country. Everyone seems to be getting colder this week. But again, it is still winter.
Very much still winter.
We need to remember that.
Snowstorms can be surprising. So if you're heading out in a snowstorm, try to judge it appropriately so that you're not going to be in a situation where you might find it's icing or some other surprise happens to you. I have been out in those situations, and while I did not lose control of my car, it did mean that I went from 50 to 60 miles an hour down to 20 miles an hour. The trip I made from Villanova over to Maryland that one night, I left at 5 o'clock in the evening, and I didn't arrive at my cousin's house until 2 o'clock in the morning.
I remember.
A slight snowstorm started. It was very light. I said, I can make it through this. It was only a 2-hour trip. It was like I was on the Minnow for a 3-hour tour, and it turned into everything. I saw buses and trucks and cars going off the road in front of me that night. We lived in Massachusetts when I learned how to drive. I really didn't have a problem. I had brand new tires on my car, so I knew I had traction. I didn't want to get off the highway at a rest area unless it had a restaurant. And the Pennsylvania Turnpike that I was on at that time, they had bathrooms, but they really didn't have restaurants. And I thought, well, you could starve to death. You could be stuck here. The snow will pile up, and I'll still be in a situation. So I kept going. I called Richard. He got on the computer and saw that if I could get to Yardley, I would be driving out of it. And I actually ended up, I think, going out 81. I mean, it was a really roundabout way to get to Maryland, but I did it, and I finally got through, and everything was fine, and the drive home was really easy. But you really have to know how to drive. So if you have any doubt or any trepidation, try not to go. It's not worth your life.
Well, and I was going to say, make sure you have your knitting, make sure you have water,
Yes.
make sure you have
Food.
beverages and food if you have to make a
Blanket.
trip. Blankets.
Space blanket if you can get one.
Just make sure that you're prepared. Snow is not something to be messed with. But also, stay home if you can. I fully intend to. I don't have to leave my apartment again for a week. I got groceries on Friday. I'm good.
Yes, you did. You brought
good.
some of the stuff over here, so that's
Oh,
good.
well, I need to go pick up my yarn from Brooklyn General on Tuesday. But that's Tuesday morning.
With mask?
Yes, with mask.
With mask. Oh, there's something new. They're making 3D printed little cups that fit over your nose and your mouth that will hold out your fabric mask. I bought 3-some of them. I guess. Because what I don't like is breathing in and my mask comes like into my mouth. So I don't need to eat my mask. So I actually got some of those, but I think I'm going to work on making covers for my expensive face mask. I like that.
That's
I like
good.
my scarf mask a lot.
Well, that's good because I did get you that fabric.
Well, yes.
So it's okay. She tried to give it back to me, and I was like, "Mom, I just got this for you." And she goes, "Yeah, but I'm not quilting." I was like, "Mom, I got it for you for masks." And she goes, "Right, yeah, give that back to me."
Yes, so, it needs to be washed and dried. Somehow it hasn't made it into the washer and dryer.
Well, anyway, if it hasn't made it by next week, I'll put it in.
That's a good idea. I'm not quite sure why it didn't go in when you did yours.
Because I was doing all of the masks for
Could have gone in the washer and
It
dryer.
could have, but I don't know.
I don't know
either.
Anyway, we've had a very productive week.
I feel like I've done nothing, but then I realize I've done half of a sweater, and I finished a pair of socks, and I caught up on that, and I've got a sweater that's blocked, and I wove in ends. Guys, also, can we just, because I haven't woven in ends on a lot of my sweaters I finished this year, like, a lot of them. Mind you, for this one, just actually, I'm going to point it out, what I did was I just made a knot between the two colors, and I'm just leaving them slightly long. I'm leaving about 1.5 inches. They'll felt to each other.
Yes.
I'm not going to worry about it because it's on the inside. They're not bothering my back.
Good.
But I think in a sweater like this, knots are perfectly fine. Absolutely fine.
You know what? If they don't bother you, no one else matters.
Yep. And if someone else notices a mistake, they're standing too close and you should kick them in the shins.
That's right.
That's what she told me.
Way too close.
Yep. So with that, I don't have any ends to weave in.
Well, I
that
have
was my
a few
point.
ends to weave in on my sweater.
Ah, okay.
So I can weave in those in.
And we will talk to you all next week.
Bye.
Bye.